Hey friends, what's up? Kaz here. Welcome back to another server admin tutorial or bucket/spigot plugin tutorial. If you're joining for the first time, feel free to hit that subscribe button because I do these every week. If you have a suggestion of plugin you'd like me to do, feel free to comment that in the gibbles below. That would be the comment section for you new people. And I will get to it, or I will capture that, give you a shout out when I get to it. Now I'm kind of on a schedule, which you'll see over, I think over here, anyway, might be, yeah. So this week we're hitting PvPArena as suggested by Screeper20MC and VladCool2001, and it's made by Slipcore. Now this plugin is huge. It's pretty basic and pretty simple to set up with any of the predefined game types. However, there is a lot of options and variations and additions that you can put on into your arena. Like you can make a very customized PvPArena with like capture the flag, infection type, or just about anything you want. We're going to just go over team deathmatch because it is kind of one of the simplest ones, and we don't have all that much time. Let's get into it. The first thing we want to do is you can do PA list of available arenas that you have, and then of course you can do PA help, which there's a very extensive help system in here, and it's fantastic. So I'd highly recommend that you kind of poke around at it. If you ever run into problems with a command or you can't remember, feel free, hop over this and give it a go. So the first thing we want to do is create arena. So we're going to go PA create, then we're going to call it tutorial. That's the arena name, so that can be whatever you want it to be. And then we're going to do the type. Now this is where you can do team, so you can just start a very basic team thing, and then you can modify the goals to make it the custom game type that you want. Or we're going to do team deathmatch, or I think it's just team DM. There we go. So it's already loaded a bunch of custom configuration. Now if you don't see this where you have something about can't find in legacy, that means that the game type that you put in doesn't exist or you spelt it wrong. But that's no big deal because you can set all that stuff later in the arena. The couple other options in there, you have free, you have CTF, CTP, spleef, tank, sabotage, and team. That's some of the predefined game types that you can create an arena for. So the next thing we need to do is set the spawns. There's really only three types of spawns that we need to set. That's the lounges or the lobbies for each team, and then the two spawns for each team, and then the spectator, which you can kind of guess that's the spectator. That's our arena, which I hope you make a better one. And then here is our spawns. So we want to get in one of these, and we're going to do PA tutorial spawn, and then this is going to be red lounge. So no space in there, and the first part is the team name. So if you're creating a game with two teams, it's red and blue. That's the two team names. So that's red, and then we're going to go over here and do blue. There we go. Now we got to set our spawns in the arena itself. So we're going to go PA tutorial spawn and then red spawn. And we'll go all the way across and set our blue spawn over here. So once again, same thing, blue spawn. Alright, so there's our spawns. Now we want to head up over here and do spawn spectator. So now when they die, they come up to this spawn. There's a few other things you can do, spawn and then a number, but that's really only for free-for-all only. And then what that will do is it'll randomly select a spawn that the player will spawn in. So the next thing, you want to set the region of your battle arena or PvP arena. So we want to do PA tutorial and then region. So that will put us into the selection options. Now we need to go in, we need to select a stick. That is your wand, as it said in that pop-up there. So now we come over here, we left click that, and we go all the way down here and select that. So now we got the region select, and it's basically a cuboid. There's a few other options for different region shapes. What you can do is PA and then the name and then region and then the region name, which we're going to set right here. So now we've done that, and then we were just going to put TDM, so Team Deathmatch. And there we go. So we've created a custom region, and it doesn't have a function yet. So now we need to set it to be a battle area. So we're going to do PA tutorial, and then this exclamation point RT, which is region type, and then TDM is the name of it, and then battle is going to be the type. Now you have a few other options with this. You can also use this way to set the lounges. You can set the spectators by using lounge instead of battle, or watch instead of battle. You can set the exit spot or the exit region by just setting exit, or the join region, or the spawn region, which is kind of cool. So if you're using a free-for-all game type, you can set the spawn region, and then it will select the players. It will spawn the players in a random spot across that region, which is super cool. You can also select regions, and instead of doing RT, you can do RF, and that's a region flag. So you can put a no camp flag on that region. So if there's any players that are not moving in that region, they'll take damage, or if they go into that region, they die, or they win if they get into that region, or lose if they get into that region, or there's no damage in that region. So you can do like a race maybe, and then if the first person to get to this certain region wins. I don't know, random game type idea for you. There's also a protection option. You can modify all the protections. I'm not really going to go over it, but it's exclamation P and then the protections. I'll have a link to that website in the Gibbles, so be sure to check that out. Now, the next thing we want to do is check out the classes. Now you can set up custom classes. There's a bunch of default ones. There's 4 default ones. There's swordsman, tank, pyro, and ranger. Now you just put the sign up in the lounge, and then put the sign in with the name of the class on top, and you can see that we have 2 different ones. Now you probably wouldn't do different classes for different for different lounges, but you know. So how you create a custom class is you load up your inventory with the items that you want that class to have, and then once it's all in there, you're going to do PA and then the name of the arena, so tutorial, and then class, and then save test. There we go. So now that is saved, we can then put that in here, and we can call it test, and then that is all of our stuff, so we can get rid of that. Now if you ever want to see what a class has, you can do PA tutorial class load and then tank. So wow, it dropped me out of creative and it almost killed me. But anyway, that's what the tank has. And then you can do swordsman. And there we go. And pyro. And that. So that is all of the classes. I mean, there's a few more, but that's how you manage your classes. And you can do PA tutorial, which is the arena name, class, remove, and then class name in there, whatever the class is that you want to remove. So it's kind of recommended that after you modify the classes, you do PA reload. So we'll go ahead and reload that. A couple of options, you can enable and disable arenas just by doing PA enable or disable the arena name. So that's pretty slick. To join it, PA tutorial. There we go. Now if you don't put the team in there, it'll randomly select a team to join. So if we want to do blue, we can we go blue, and then we're joining blue, and then PA leave, PA join red. There we go. And then you can select the class, which you can see is that custom one that we've created. So by default, when you leave an arena, it's just going to go back to the spot that you were last at, unless you set a exit region, which is kind of cool. Now let's talk a little bit about customizing your games. Now if you do PA goal list, and it's going to list all of the custom game goals that you can set up for that arena. So I'm not really going to go over all of them, but there's kill rewards, there's block destroys, team lives, time, flags, all that stuff. You can modify that. There's also an additional stuff that you can add to it. There's other game modes that you can load up into it, which I'll put a link in the description or the Gibbles. to the enhancement page, which has a whole list of things. Now there's only a couple items that are already installed by default, or modules. You can go ahead and download those, unzip those to the appropriate file folder in your plugin list, and then you would just do PA install and then the goal name or mod name, whatever it is that you added, or you do PA and then once it's installed, then you're going to enable it for your arena. So we're going to go tutorial TM and then the mod name. So that's about all. Not really a whole lot to hit on the permissions because they're pretty much all set up by default. But let's take a look at the config file before we head out. Okay, so here we are. We get a whole lot of stuff that's created by default once we're running this plugin. So we're going to open classes. Not really. We don't really need to look at anything in there. But here's the folders that you want to load the mods or the goals, the custom goals into, or the custom region shapes into. But the basic one that we're going to look at is the config file. So we're going to open that up. Now this is kind of config for overall. And not really going to hit a bunch too much stuff in here. You can turn PvP off for everybody else except for in the arena, which is kind of nice. You can change the prefix on, you know, the pop-ups of all that stuff. So the other thing that I just kind of want to hit on is once you set up an arena, you can jump up in here, and there's a whole, this is where you can further customize it without being in game. It's fantastic. There's a whole lot of stuff. I'm not really going to point out anything in particular. You can change the names, you know, the custom formatting of the text and all that stuff. You can turn on perms. Now if you turn on explicit arena needed, so if you set this to true, this means that they're going to need the permission PvPArena.join.arena name to be able to join. So maybe you can set up an arena for your donors only, or here's an explicit class needed. That means that the donors will need, or you can set up the classes, and then people will need PvPArena.class.class name, all lowercase. And then if that's set to true, then they'll need that permission for each class. So you can set up some custom classes for your donors and all that stuff. So pretty basic. Like I said, there's a whole lot more stuff you can do with this plugin. It is fantastic and highly configurable, and you can make a really custom playing experience for your users. So I hope that was helpful for you. Feel free to ask a question. I'll do my best to answer it, but you might be better off posting on the author's page. So this is Cosmic Friends reminding you all, enjoy the game. God bless.